You wake in the morning, and before you've even lifted your head, you feel it. The heaviness in your body, the fog across your mind, the quiet ache in your chest that whispers, you are already tired. How can that be? You rested, you closed your eyes for hours, and yet your soul knows the truth. You are leaking. This exhaustion is not the design of your being. You were not created to wake weary, to move through life dim and depleted. Your essence was made to overflow. Your spirit was meant to walk radiant. What you call tiredness is not a shortage of energy, but the loss of containment. Imagine a golden chalice filled to the brim, its light spilling outward. If it is whole, it holds. If it is cracked, the contents bleed into the ground, wasted. This is your condition, not empty, not broken, but leaking. Energy does not vanish, it flows, and when it flows into the past, you cannot release, into the future you keep fearing, into the noise that surrounds you every day, it no longer returns to you. You wake weary because the stream of your life force is not gathered within. It is scattered across memories, scattered across illusions, scattered across the shadows that feed on your attention. The ancients understood this. They spoke of the soul as a vessel, a container of fire and light. When whole, it multiplied energy until it overflowed. When fractured, it starved. They taught that every regret is a fracture, every distraction a crack, every unhealed wound an opening. And through these leaks, vitality bleeds away, drop by drop, until the soul grows weak, not for lack of power, but for lack of wholeness. Yet, our world has taught you to accept this state as normal. You are told exhaustion is inevitable. You are told fatigue is simply part of the human condition. And so you chase after energy in stimulants, in distractions, in endless consumption, anything to fill what cannot be filled, because the cracks remain. This is not ignorance, it is design. For the truth is stark. Leaking souls are useful to those who profit from control. Empires have always understood that a weary people is an obedient people. A distracted soul is easier to rule than a sovereign one. When you are drained, you do not rebel. When you are fractured, you do not create. When you are scattered, you do not rise. Instead, you seek outward for answers, outward for comfort, outward for power that you already carry within. This hunger serves the system. This exhaustion feeds the empire. Look around. Noise floods your mind, scattering your attention. Screens pull you into endless loops, leaking your presence moment by moment. Fear cycles keep you hooked, your vessel cracked open by worry. Even spirituality has been weaponized, offering promises of wholeness that never seal the leaks, only deepen them. These are not accidents. They are the architecture of a world built to keep you drained. And this is why the ancient way matters now more than ever. Because to seal your vessel is not just healing, it is rebellion. To gather your fragments back is to break the chains. To guard your flame is to deny the powers that would consume it. A sealed soul cannot be enslaved. A radiant vessel cannot be ruled by fear. This was known across civilizations. In Egypt, initiates guarded their ka, their vital essence, through sacred breath and ritual, ensuring no force could siphon their life. In India, yogis practiced the binding of prana, sealing the inner fire so it rose instead of leaking away. In China, Taoist adepts gathered and contained qi, protecting it from scattering through emotion or distraction. Shamans in the Americas reclaimed fragments of soul through ceremony, weaving them back into wholeness. Different languages, different myths. One wisdom: energy unsealed is energy enslaved. Energy sealed is energy sovereign. And this is where you now stand. You who are tired not because you lack, but because you leak. You who are weary not because you are weak, but because you were never taught to seal. You who are seeking outward for what can only be gathered inward. Your exhaustion is not the end of your story, it is the sign that you are ready to remember. When the ancients spoke of sealing, they did not mean escape. They did not mean hiding from the world. They meant living so whole, so gathered, so radiant, that the world could not take from you what was never given. A sealed soul is not dim, it blazes brighter. A sealed vessel is not cut off, it overflows. Look to the luminous ones who walked before you. Yeshua of Nazareth sealed his light in the desert through breath and fasting, so that when he emerged, no empire could bend him. Mary Magdalene carried the chalice of remembrance, sealing not only her own essence but the lineage of Sophia within her, so that generations after her fire could not be extinguished. The Egyptian priestesses sealed their ka in the temples of Isis, standing as radiant pillars whose very presence could ignite a room. Taoist sages gathered qi until their bodies glowed, light spilling from their pores, legends of immortality born from the simple art of not leaking. These were not miracles for the chosen few. They were the fruits of discipline, awareness, and sealing. History remembers them as saints, prophets, mystics, but their secret was never more energy. It was fewer leaks. They guarded themselves. They refused to scatter. They lived sealed, and because of that they walked radiant. And you are called to the same path. The systems of this world want you to believe you are weak. They want you to believe fatigue is normal. They want you to chase endlessly for energy in places that will never seal you. But you are not weak. You are not empty. You are simply unsealed. So how do you begin? Not with striving, not with endless seeking, but with awareness. Awareness is the first seal. When you notice your mind drifting back to an old argument, whisper to yourself, "This is a leak." When you feel yourself spiraling in regret for something long gone, tell yourself, "This is a crack." When you catch your attention fractured across 1,000 glittering distractions, breathe and say, "This is a drain." The moment you name it, you begin to close it, for what is seen can no longer bleed unseen. Then comes the breath, not the shallow gasps of survival, but the conscious inhale of remembrance. Inhale, and imagine every fragment of your soul returning sparks, flying home from conversations long finished, from futures not yet lived, from places you never belonged. Exhale, and see molten gold pouring into the cracks, sealing them with light. Each inhale gathers, each exhale seals, each breath becomes a restoration. This is not metaphor. This is the physics of the unseen. Energy follows awareness, and awareness carried by breath is the seal itself. But breath is only the beginning. Sealing is a way of life. It is how you move through endings. It is how you walk away from what is complete. It is how you choose not to scatter your attention into every noise that calls your name. The ancients closed doors with ritual, a hand pressed to the heart, a circle drawn in the air, a word spoken aloud. These were not superstitions. They were technologies of sovereignty. To mark something as sealed is to release it from draining you further. You can reclaim this. Before you rise from meditation, breathe a circle of light around you. Before you leave a room heavy with conflict, place your hand to your chest and whisper, "I call my energy home." Before you end the day, seal yourself in golden fire and close the leaks of unfinished thought. These gestures may seem small, but they are threads in the great weaving, and the more you weave, the stronger your vessel becomes. Because leaks are not only personal, they are ancestral. When you seal yourself, you heal what your lineage could not. You close the wounds that bled for generations. You return the fire that was scattered across centuries. And when enough souls walk sealed, the empires begin to starve, for they cannot feed on what is whole. They cannot enslave what is sovereign. This is why remembering is dangerous to those who profit from your forgetting. They want you fractured. They want you distracted. They want you weary, so you will obey. But when you gather yourself, when you breathe yourself whole, when you seal the vessel of your soul, you become ungovernable. You become radiant. You become free. So let this truth burn in you. You are not tired because you lack energy. You are tired because you leak it. You are not exhausted because you are weak. You are exhausted because you scatter. You are not empty. You are unsealed. And what is unsealed can be sealed again. Imagine yourself as the chalice of light once more. See its fractures glowing faintly. Feel the leaks that have drained you for years. Then breathe. With each inhale, call your energy home. With each exhale, seal a crack with golden fire. One by one, the fractures close. One by one, the leaks end. And then, for the first time in years, you feel it. The gathering, the fullness, the overflow. This is why you feel drained, and this is the ancient way to reclaim your energy. Not through endless consumption, but through sealing. Not through frantic seeking, but through remembering. Not by giving yourself away, but by guarding the flame until it blazes beyond you. The ancients knew, the mystics remembered, and now so do you. The forgotten light in you is remembering. Don't turn away now. If this teaching stirred something ancient in you, don't stop here. The deeper initiation continues in this week's playlist. Step through the doorway now.